Hi there. My name is Trills, and thanks for joining me for the introduction to what I hope will be a short video series just to be an aid to people interested in engaging with art more thoughtfully. I'm a figurative artist. I do very much contemporary work, and I was just recently really inspired by a couple of conversations that I had with people wanting to do something to help folks appreciate art better, appreciate art at a more thoughtful level, if that makes sense. And not just contemporary fine art, but art of any medium. I want to keep things broad today. I just want to discuss why I'm doing this, what I'm doing this for. I have some notes off frame, so forgive me if I'm looking up and down a little bit. I think one thing about our culture today is we've grown so accustomed to very fast-paced, high consumption that it's only natural for us to take fine art, visual art in that same capacity. But I want this video series to sort of act partly as like an antidote to that we have to engage with art at a different level. I hope that I can help and encourage people to go beyond the surface level appreciation of art, that they are more willing, after kind of considering these ideas, to take the time necessary to engage with art thoughtfully. I believe that art is human. I believe that art is about communication. And so the thing is, I don't believe you necessarily need a degree or need years and years of studying to engage with art. I think it's really a matter of a willingness and an openness and having just a broad understanding. This video series is not for any experts, and if there are any experts or art historians or anybody who happens to stumble upon this, by all means you can stop watching here. I mean no disrespect, but you will probably find this incredibly unrefined and incredibly lacking. But this is really just an approach I'm taking in order to help just any person, any human being, no matter how much you love or how much you despise contemporary art. In particular, I want to help people who have ever felt really put off by art. And just as a little thought experiment, I want you to think of the least artful thing you can right now. Think of either whether it be visual art or it could be even something that's just a different medium altogether. Something that somebody told you this is art and you took one look at it and thought it was so off-putting and so not art to your standard, by your metric, by what you gauge as art. For example, I think one just complete medium that people can really instantly eschew as not art is video games. So for example, if there is something like that that was presented to you, consider that for a moment. Now consider the inverse of that. I think one medium that people really gravitate towards naturally is music. So think of your favorite song, for example, something that really touches you and moves you. Have you ever considered why? Have you ever considered what it is about that song that speaks to you deeply? Have you thought about the qualities of that song that speak to you? The reason I bring up these examples is because I want this video series just to facilitate a greater willingness to consider the why. Why is it that some work is so off-putting? Some things that are considered art are so just unappealing to you as a viewer versus other things that just seem such a natural fit. I want to help facilitate a greater willingness to explore the why, to explore the reasons that you feel within yourself why engaging with this object, this art object, whatever medium it is, whether it be, for example, video games or music, a particular song, what it is about these conflicting art objects that are either incredibly off-putting or incredibly stimulating, and to try to look at them through your subjective lens, but with almost an objective toolbox, so to speak, or an objective means by which to measure these things and consider them. I do want to say, because I do contemporary work, I'm a visual artist, I'm going to really be keeping things around contemporary art, visual art, that sort of thing, just because it's my wheelhouse. But again, I bring up these examples and I discuss this stuff because I hope that these tools and ideas will translate across the spectrum, that anything from film to music to video games to literature, tools that are broad, sweeping, that you can consider any artistic medium through these lenses, essentially. Just to go over my background a little bit, I am just an artist. I don't have any background. I don't have a degree in art appreciation. I am by no means somebody who is completely well versed in experiencing art, really. This is just one subjective experience. This is me trying to share what I do in terms of engaging with art and experiencing art, in hopes that it can just offer something to you, the viewer, in your own experience. All of this sort of thing is incredibly subjective, and I can't stress that enough. Again, this is my opinion, this is my approach, this is the effort that I make when I am trying to engage with art. And that's what I want to share with you, is this subjective experience, in hoping that it will help your own subjective experience. Again, can't stress it enough. One thing I think that's also important about me to mention is that I have spent the vast majority of my life as an outsider. I am not a part of an art community. I was raised in a working class suburban environment, and I was not ever really engaged with art on a regular basis. So my background comes from a place that is not necessarily connected to contemporary art, and I think that that's very important to mention. I want to try and bridge the gap. I feel like because of what I do and because of the background that I come from, and having that sort of conflict between those two camps can possibly be an area where I can bring some connection there, if that makes sense. I really feel that there is a schism nowadays between mainstream culture and fine art. And again, I just really want to try with this video series to be even just a kernel of hope in bridging that gap. I have an incredibly supportive family who have been nothing but loving and helpful on this journey, but I am very much aware that I think in a lot of ways they don't really have the slightest idea what it is that I do in terms of like engaging with it. And that's part of what's really inspired me, is I want to try, not in a pedantic way, not in any sort of arrogant way. I want to try and create these videos just to help people like them who have an openness and a willingness to understand art, but just haven't really ever been exposed to how to go about it, or exposed to it enough to understand what it means to engage with art at a personal one-on-one level. I'm trying to create this video series to create better accessibility for mainstream folks and contemporary art. I want to try and just offer some tools. Again, I'm a figurative artist and I use realism a lot, and I think the people that appreciate what I do appreciate it for the realism, appreciate it for, like, the ability to render a figure realistically. My work is incredibly emotional, it's incredibly conceptual, and the point is that if you judge my work based on how effectively and well I can render a human figure in realism, you've almost completely lost the point. And so that's what I want this video series to be, an opportunity to help people understand art and get in touch with it and engage with it, to find that deeper meaning, to find that deeper understanding, whether you like art or not. This is not a series that's trying to convert you to make you fall in love with art. You can still not like art. It can be to your taste to just not like fine art, but I want there to be a willingness to at least discover that. You have to be one-on-one with it and meet it where it's at in order for that to come about. I want to wrap things up here. This video series is going to be kind of freewheeling. I'm going to go on with different topics kind of as I feel inspired. I want to create videos for topics that just feel kind of natural, on different ways and on different things we can do in approaching art to help with that deeper understanding. And hopefully, as more videos come out, more of this will make sense to what I'm trying to do. Thanks very much for watching. Please share this with a friend if they are somebody who might want to engage with art more. And until the next one, take care, everybody.